Ladies and gentlemen, how do?
Hello again, all you lovely people. Following the sudden departure of Sir Keir Starmer, aka Sir Curry, and a beer, Labour Party has officially entered a new chapter with the election of Andy Burnham as its new leader and Prime Minister in waiting. Mr. Burnham has promised a distinctively Labour path, pledging to tackle the cost of living crisis through sweeping regional devolution and what he calls the most significant moment in British politics for 40 years. That all sounds great, super lovely. Now come see what you could have won, 'cause you can't beat a bit of bully. Dear viewers, are you seeing this? Are you tracking the sheer, unbridled desperation of this country? Keir Starmer is gone. Ejected, flushed down the very U-bend of history he spent 2 years clogging up. And who have they brought in to save the sinking ship? King Arthur of the North. Andy Burnham, the man who spent the last few years playing the professional grump of Greater Manchester, has finally achieved his final form. He is now the Prime Minister in waiting. And what is his grand, revolutionary plan to rescue Great Britain from the brink of absolute collapse? Wait for it, devolution, bloody devolution. Because when the NHS is bleeding out in the corridor, the prisons are literally full, the water companies are pumping liquid excrement into our tea, and the economy is flatter than a run over Badger, the obvious solution is to build a brand new government office in Manchester. Yes. He's actually calling it Number 10 North. Number 10 North, viewer. He wants to move part of the Downing Street operation up the M6 because, apparently, the problem with British politics isn't that our politicians are spineless, neo-liberal, corporate, sycophant careerists. No, it's just their postcode. If we just move the incompetents 200 miles north, it'll suddenly become magical, working class, good growth. He actually said that. He said Whitehall has too much power, and growth cannot be ordered from the top down. So his plan is to order growth from a different top down, but this time with a slightly flatter vowel sound. He wants to turn the actual number 10 Downing Street, a building currently infested with literal mice and metaphorical human rats. My job is a never-ending one. But he wants to make my home into a purely ceremonial building for diplomatic tea parties, while the real nerve centre shifts to Greater Manchester. And if that means that I see a lot less of him, then I'm all for it. Is this fixing the country, or are we just doing a regional office relocation? Right, let's look at the policy platform he's dropped to prove he's a radical. He says Britain took a series of wrong turns in the 1980s. He's not wrong there, is he? He says political power was centralised, economic power was privatised, and we surrendered control of the essentials: housing, water, energy, transport. He's standing there in front of the Labour faithful saying, we won't try to out reform, or out green the Greens, and we're going to stop wearing too many Tory clothes. Oh, fantastic. A Labour leader acting like a Labour leader. Incredible. He's hinting at nationalising Thames Water, which is brilliant, given they owe £18 billion and are about to go belly up by October. He wants to build the biggest council house programme since the Second World War. He wants to cap bus fares at £2. It all sounds lovely, doesn't it? It sounds like a proper, old-fashioned, left-of-centre government. Except for one teeny, tiny, catastrophic little detail. How is he going to pay for it if he stays within Rachel from accounting's fiscal rules? Because he's also promised to stick to the exact same self-imposed fiscal straitjacket rules that broke Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves. He's vowed not to raise income tax. He's vowed not to raise VAT. He's vowed not to raise national insurance on working people. In fact, he's hinted he wants to raise the personal allowance to put money back in people's pockets and review the national insurance hike on employers. Right, so you're going to cut taxes for working people, cut taxes for small businesses, back the water companies, build millions of council houses, fix the social care crisis, and fund the NHS using what? Magic. A very lucrative jumble sale. Are we going to crowdfund the state, Andy? Oh, wait, no. I know the answer. The Guardian leaked the briefing papers this morning. Do you know how he's going to fund his grand vision? He's going to fund the cost of living measures and the £4.7 billion black hole in the defence budget by borrowing it. Borrowing. The guy who wants to prove he's fiscally responsible is just going to borrow, because he claims that the Treasury apparently has a little bit of headroom left. What headroom? The one that is currently being vaporized by the inflation caused by a war in the Middle East. We are going to borrow our way out of a debt crisis. It's genius. It's like trying to put out a house fire by throwing petrol at it, because the petrol was on sale. I hate to break it to you, Andy, but a Manchester City budget is not the same as a UK-wide budget. Economic literacy is not your strong suit, is it? And then there's his big constitutional revolution. He wants to abolish the House of Lords and replace it with a Senate of the Nations and Regions. Because what this country desperately needs right now, while people can't get a GP appointment for 6 weeks, is a 3-year long agonizing bureaucratic debate about the seating arrangements of the second chamber. He claims that he wants to get rid of first past the post and bring in proportional representation, which is something that he has hinted at, but when pressed on the subject, he never gives a timetable on when it will happen or what form of PR he would like to see implemented. This all seems to be just more buzzwords. He has not said that he would put PR in as part of Labour's next manifesto, so is it more meaningless gesturing? He even wants to reform the whipping system in the House of Commons because he thinks party whips have too much power over MPs. He spent 16 years as an MP. He knows exactly what whips do. Whips don't just threaten people. Stop the parliamentary party from devolving into a Lord of the Flies-style tribal war. If you remove the whips, the Labour Party won't become a beautiful, collaborative haven of problem solving. It will become a circular firing squad of factional lunacy within 20 minutes or less. But don't worry, everyone. Sue Gray is back, yes. The high priestess of Whitehall bureaucracy, the woman who compiled the original shit list of political fires for Starmer, is now unofficially advising Burnham on how to handle his immediate political headaches. Because nothing says radical outside of breaking the mode of Westminster quite like hiring the exact same ultimate Whitehall insider who just finished presiding over the collapse of the previous administration. It's the same carousel, the exact same political merry-go-round, just spinning around a different axis. We are trapped in a loop. Starmer promised stability and gave us the charisma of a wet sock being thrown at an invading army and a budget that pissed off the farmers. Now Burnham arrives in his shining armour, promising Manchesterism, regional pride, and a housing first philosophy borrowed from Finland. So we are going to become Finland, but with worse weather, higher debt, and an NHS that operates out of porter cabins. I can't take it anymore. The whole system is broken. You can't fix a crumbling, centralised empire by opening a satellite office in Greater Manchester and telling everyone that power is flowing. The only thing flowing in this country is the sewage in the rivers and the eternal bullshit coming out of the television and the mainstream media. In other news, Mr. Burnham is expected to outline his full cabinet appointments early next week. Is there a pub around here that doesn't charge £9 a pint? No. Right, let's just go to Manchester then. Apparently, it's cheaper there. Well, folks, if you enjoyed this video, then not only are you lovely people, but you also have great taste, and you should also subscribe to the Two Davies for news and politics from a very Scottish perspective, and that rantastic Mr. McGuinness. Cue growling cat.